Welcome to the Betting Above the Rim podcast. Today's date, June 23rd, episode 160 of the Betting Above the Rim podcast. And let's get started with Thunder finally clinched. The Oklahoma City Thunder are your 2025 NBA champions after a 103-91 win over the Indiana Pacers, covering the 8.5, 7.5 point spread, even 6.5 some places, I think, close to tip-off. Game goes well under the 214.5 pregame. And what can you say about Oklahoma City? This could be the beginning of a dynasty, and it was a great performance defensively. If you look at Oklahoma City, and Matt, if you could pull up those graphics real quick. The key thing is here, before we get to all the stuff with Haliburton, Indiana was up 8 made threes to 4 at the break at halftime. And I talked about on In-Game Live with Kevin Walsh about the fact that you had to, if you're OKC, you had to come out and knock down shots because of the way that they were loading up. But to me, what happened in the beginning of the third quarter was the run. 34-20, forced 2 timeouts by Rick Carlisle in the third quarter. And what you had is not just SGA, who was absolutely fantastic, we'll get to him in a second. Chet, Jalen Williams kind of took control of the game very early on. First possession, a couple of missed shots. Chet offensive rebound. Lou Dort, rainbow three. Here comes Jalen Williams. And then came the run. What made it particularly difficult for Indiana is from the 8-minute and 32-second stretch of the end of the third quarter through the end of the third until the beginning of the fourth, about 3 minutes in, TJ McConnell was the only person to score for Indiana. And TJ McConnell was absolutely fantastic, but they threw the ball around the gym. So Oklahoma City did what I told you they always do. They lean on their defense to generate their offense to make their run. Their run came in the third quarter. Congratulations to the OKC Thunder and their champion win 103-91. Let's get to SGA, the MVP. And wow, what a performance. I know he not shoot the ball well from 3, 2 of 12. 29 points, 12 rebounds, I think 12 assists, 4 or 5 rebounds. Really had a monster series. And I think there's got to be talk after averaging 30.3, 5.6 assists, 4.6 rebounds. We have to have a talk of, is SGA the best player in the world? If he ain't one, he's two. I said it this morning on the early line with Ben Stevens and Donnie Rightside that I do believe that SGA now is the number 1 player in the world. The things that he could do from the point of attack, offensively and defensively, his ability to drive downhill and score on all 3 levels. When you put someone that's quicker than him or smaller than him, he kind of bodies them into the lane. If you put someone that's not as quick as him, he blows by them, right? If you give him too much space, he can shoot the 3. He dimes you up. He gets assists. And the thing I like most about this young man at 26, he's so humble. He's so humble. And that speaks to the whole culture of OKC that Sam Presti and Mark Daigneault has built. Humble team, folks. And I'm going to tell you this right now. This window is just opening. Just opening. 19 first round, 19 picks they have coming up. 2 picks in the first round of this NBA draft. Everyone signed through next year. Team options are all going to get picked up. Sam Presti can now figure out with the draft and with his draft capital, does he get guys that are ready-made college guys to add to the rotation? Does he take projects guys that will take a couple of years to build up? Or does he take some of the draft picks and take a swing and go get another star? Scary times in OKC ahead. Let's head to Tyrese Haliburton. With about 5 minutes left to go in the first quarter, Tyrese Haliburton hit 3 threes. And I had looked at Kevin Walsh and I said, if I am Mark Daigneault, I am going to make him put the ball to the deck, run him off the 3-point line, and make him a passer. And look at the assist problem. Not as soon as I said my sentence, within 1 minute, Tyrese Haliburton goes down. Tyrese Haliburton, folks, suffered a very nasty Achilles tear injury that was confirmed just a couple hours ago by the Indiana Pacers. He will miss this year, and he will miss all of next year. A guy that really has spoken to what is right about the NBA. Yeah, his dad's a little bit of a hothead. Yeah, he's a little bit of a showman, but he's a good kid. Now, folks, those are 3 injuries in the Eastern Conference that are with 8 or their Achilles tears. Dame, Tatum, Haliburton. Folks, all three of them had calf strains before the Achilles tear. So you got to wonder what needs to be done to protect these players. People talk about shortening the season. I don't know. These guys, we had Dr. Chow on last night, and he kind of said it. These guys are bigger, stronger, faster, jump higher, and their Achilles are the same size. So it's leading to more issues. But there is something to say that calf injuries may be treated a little bit differently in the future. Let's hope that Tyrese Haliburton gets better. Let's go back to the Western Conference as a big trade took place on Sunday as Kevin Durant was traded from the Phoenix Suns to the Houston Rockets for a package that includes Jalen Green, Dillon Brooks, the number 10 pick of the 2025 NBA draft, and 5 second-round picks. This is obviously all according to Shams. And for Houston, I want people to understand this, where people are like, you're taking a 36, 37-year-old guy. Hear me out. They did this for the short term and the long term. Their window is here. They were the number 2 seed with 57 wins. KD wanted to go to Houston partially because he loved what Ime Udoka does when they were together in Brooklyn when Ime was a defensive coordinator for Steve Nash. But by not trading Jabari Smith, they kind of set themselves up. So what does Houston's starting 5 look like for next year? The front court, you're obviously looking at Amen Thompson, which made Dillon Brooks expendable because the way Amen played down the stretch. KD Şengün. Backcourt, Fred VanVleet. Then either, to me, Reed Shepard or Cam Whitmore. And then you bring the other one off the bench with Jabari Smith, with Tari Eason, and a sneaky good signing of bringing back Steven Adams. Their window is now. As for Phoenix, I'm looking for what is the next step in regards to Phoenix. If I were Phoenix, they need draft capital. They have to start over. To me, I'm looking at when does Devin Booker ask out of Phoenix. Let's head to the WNBA as one milestone and one injury. The injury is Jonquel Jones. You've heard me say this time and time and time again. Jonquel Jones may not be the best player for the Liberty, but she is the most indispensable Liberty player. After hurting her ankle versus the Washington Mystics, she came back after missing a game, and Thursday night, early in the second quarter, she rolled her ankle again. They have decided to sit her out for 4 to 6 weeks to rest her up. This is simply put to get her ready for the playoffs. Liberty should be a top 3, top 4 seed in the playoffs. That is why Jonquel Jones is out. Let's hope Jonquel Jones gets healthy soon, because with Jonquel Jones in the pivot, with Sab, with Stewie, with Natasha Cloud, with Johannes, with Kennedy Burke, with all these players, they are the best team in the WNBA. Shout out to Paige Bueckers. Paige Bueckers adds to history books as the fastest player in the WNBA history to record 200 points and 50 assists. Since coming back from injury, folks, Paige has been balling. I said something a long time ago on this network that pissed off a lot of people. I said that Paige Bueckers will be as good, if not better, than Caitlin Clark. Now, I want to correct myself. They're 2 different players. But I will say this. By the end of next year, Paige Bueckers will be a top 10 player in the WNBA. And she may be maybe even top 6 or 7. Coming up next, we'll get into our award tour as I will break down some of the NBA draft. We'll look at the odds to be the number 3 pick. We'll look at the odds for the number 4 pick. We'll look at the odds for the number 5 pick. And then we'll get into top 5 and top 10 pick odds as the NBA draft will be Wednesday night with yours truly, Kevin Walsh, Tom Vecchio, and Ben Stevens. We'll be back with our award tour after this commercial break. Welcome back to the Betting Above the Rim podcast, episode 160, and it's time to get into our award tour. We break down the future markets with the NBA draft tipping off, or I should say commencing at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Remember, be sure to listen to Sports Grid's coverage of the NBA draft. Myself and Big Ten Ben Stevens will be based out of New York City, while Tom Vecchio and Kevin Walsh will be based out of Jersey. 4 hours of the best draft coverage. We got it all from you. You got obviously Ben running the point, Kevin with the odds analysis, myself with the coaching background, and Tom Vecchio is something new, giving a little bit of fantasy focus to the NBA draft. But let's get into the draft, as I've done a lot of research. And I want to start at number 3 because, let's be honest, folks, we know 1 is going to be Cooper Flagg. We know 2 is going to be Dylan Harper. 3 is where fun begins. Right now, according to the FanDuel Sportsbook, VJ Edgecombe is minus 280. Ace Bailey, 4.5. Trey Johnson out of Texas, 8-1. Con Knippel, 15-1. Dylan Harper, 30-1. Kamal Maliwatz, 35-1. Jeremiah Fears at 100-1. At 200-1 for Cooper Flagg. I don't even know why we put that up there, because Cooper Flagg is going 1, same thing with Dylan Harper. So to me, here's how I see it, folks. I think Ace Bailey's doing a lot of this stuff on purpose in regard to where he wants to get drafted. I think Ace Bailey wants the Nets. And I think the Nets realize they may have to go get him. Ace Bailey also wants guarantees that he's getting picked for by Philadelphia. I think so he gets traded. I don't understand where VJ Edgecombe fits in their lineup. When you have Maxey, you have McCain, and then you can even have as your third guard, Kelly Oubre. So Edgecombe at 6'4" doesn't make sense. Neither does Trey Johnson. Now, if you want to say Colin Knippel for a shooter, I could say that. But on my draft board, number 3 is going to be Ace Bailey. The 6'8" forward out of Rutgers, dynamic scorer who can score in all different ways. It's got to work in the shot selection. But to me, Ace Bailey is the pick there because I do expect the pick to get moved. Let's get to pick number 4. Colin Knippel at plus 125. Remember, this is Charlotte's pick. Colin Knippel plus 125. Ace Bailey plus 320. Same thing with Edgecombe plus 320. Trey Johnson plus 430. Molly Watts 9-1. Jeremiah Fears 36-1. I'm not going to go any deeper than that. To me, this is where VJ Edgecombe goes. Now, there is a thought process that you want if you want Kamal Maliwatz. So to me, the reason why I want Edgecombe at this spot, I don't think Knippel makes sense here. Because if you have a straight shooter, you already have Brandon Miller. So I don't think Con makes sense here. To me, the pick is Edgecombe. I think this is someone that is dynamic, athletic, as you know what, and I think he'll fit in with that young Charlotte Hornets team. Give me VJ Edgecombe for pick number 4. When you get to 5, Trey Johnson plus 240, Ace Bailey 250, Knippel plus 270, Fears plus 270, VJ Edgecombe 10-1. I don't even know why you're going to look at Maliwatz because honestly, they already have Sarr there. So unless you were to play Sarr with Maliwatz, I don't know. And then there's obviously Derek Queen at 95-1. To me, this is Trey Johnson. They need a shooting guard. I think, personally, Jordan Poole could be on the move. If they can find anybody to take his contract. And Trey, with his ability to light it up and shoot the ball, presents a good option for them, better than the others. I think Ace is gone. They got Corey Kispert already, so you don't need Knippel. You could look at Jeremiah Fears if you want a point guard, kind of with Hemden Hawd. And I'm sorry, and I'm dead wrong. Number 5 is Utah. My mistake. Number 5 is Utah. Utah does need a shooting guard because I'm a big fan of Keontae George at the 1. And you're probably going to move Jordan Clarkson. So my mistake there, folks. I got a little ahead of myself. Trey Johnson's going to be the number 5 pick, in my opinion, in the NBA draft. Really quick, 6, just so I know people tell you where I'm thinking. 6 is Fears to Washington. 7, Knippel, New Orleans. 8, I went back and forth. Queen to Brooklyn. Maliwatz to Brooklyn to Toronto. And then I got to get his name right. Yakovlionis from Illinois will go to Phoenix at 10. They need a point guard. When you look at top 10 picks, Ace Bailey minus 195, Kneppel minus 170, Trey Johnson minus 160, Fears 4-1, Meliwatch 4-1. I'll be taking Trey Johnson at minus 160. I think he goes 5. Could go a little bit higher. Here's what I'm going to tell people. If Meliwatch gets picked in the top 5, it could be 4 or 5. The failed trade of Mark Williams means that at any point, Charlotte's going to move on from him. And then Utah, if they take him, they're probably trading someone like a Walker Kessler. So if you want to take a little bit on Meliwatch at 4-1, I don't blame you. But to me, my best bet out of that is Trey Johnson at minus 160. Let's get the top 10 picks. Fears, minus 9,000. Noah Asunje, I got to get his name right, minus 120. Derek Green, plus 120. Carter Bryant, plus 185. Igor Demon, 3-1. Colin Murray Bowles, plus 380. Cedric Coward, 5-1. Thomas Sorber, plus 7.5. And Jace Richardson at plus 8.5 is some of the guys we're looking at here. Real quick, to me, I'm looking solely at possibly the point guard out of Illinois at plus 120 going in the top 10 because I have them at 10. But don't sneak on Igor Demon, dynamic 6'8" point guard out of BYU. After this commercial break, we will get into our scouting report. We'll break down 4 games in the WNBA. Dream versus the Dallas Wings, along with 3 other matchups, including the Sparks versus the Sky. We'll be back with our scouting report after this commercial break. Welcome back to the Betting Above the Rim podcast, episode 160. And it's time to get into our scouting report as we break down markets in the WNBA with a 4-game slate coming up on Tuesday night. It's a good opportunity to go look at the W and the matchups that take place. Let's lead off with the Atlanta Dream taking on Paige Bueckers and the Dallas Wings. Right now, lines are out, and it is right now, we have it at 6.5. I am seeing 8 right now. Be sure to shop around. And if you really dig deep into this matchup, the Atlanta Dream at 10-4 have been a surprise story of the WNBA. With the play of that player, Ryan Howard, Alyssa Gray has been outstanding. And then a dynamic duo of Brittany Griner and Brianna Jones in the pivot. This team has not covered its last 2 games, but they covered the previous 4 before that. When you look at a team like Dallas, they've been better since Paige has been back. They just came off a rough 91-88 loss at Washington, which they were 3-point underdogs, but they had covered the 3 games before that. Simply put, this is a game that you want to be looking at the over in. This is 2 teams that really don't play a ton of defense. Let's be quite honest about it. It's about 167.5, 166.5. Look for the game to go over. And if you want to lay the points, I wouldn't mind to take the Atlanta Dream minus the points. Let's head to an intriguing matchup between the LA Sparks and the Chicago Sky. Right now, it's a pretty close line here between this game. Between the 2 teams. The Sparks are minus 2-point favorites, about 178 on the money line. But when you look at this matchup and you look at this game, LA is 4-10, but they've played a difficult schedule. I just can't get behind Chicago. I mean, listen. It's noted by everyone that I just don't think this team is very good at all. I know that they are, and do shop around, folks, because as we put this stuff up, lines are moving, right? So I've seen 4.5, 5.5 in this matchup for Chicago getting the points. You know what? This is a team that really struggled to score. I would be looking at the under in this game, under 163.5. I know that the Sparks can score, but the Sky can't. So that simply put, if I think one team can't score, then why am I going over? I'm going to go under that matchup. Game number 3 is Big Fish, the Fisher Collier, and the Minnesota Lynx laying 7 points at the Washington Mystics. Simply put, they have the best record in the league. They have not played the hardest schedule. They have covered their last 3 games since losing, and the games they've won by 23, 14, and 16. Yikes. And they're going against a Washington Mystics team that got off to a good start to start the year, has covered 5 of the last 6 games. But if you really look at it, they had a really great win at Atlanta. You know, they beat at Chicago, but they're not really playing an impressive schedule so far. This is Big Fish's time. Give me the Fisher Collier minus the points with the Minnesota Lynx to take out the Washington Mystics. Game number 4, Indiana, Seattle. Tight spread, folks, with it looking like it's a point. It's a pick 'em. You know, I see 2s right now on FanDuel. So this is basically a player. Seattle's really intriguing. Kevin Walsh is a big fan of the Seattle Storm, and so am I. When you look at Gabby Williams, when you look at Megabur, when you look at Onyeka Onwubuike, when you look at Skylar Diggins, I know Indiana's been good, but they have lost their last 2 games. So to me, I'm looking at the Seattle Storm on the money line to get the win. So really quick, let's go back right to the beginning so everybody knows. We're going Atlanta Dream minus the points. We are going to go with the under in the Sparks versus Sky. We're going to go with the Minnesota Lynx minus the points. And then we will go at Seattle on the money line. This has been the Betting Above the Rim podcast, episode 160. For all things sports gambling, download the Sports Grid app. Pre-game, in-game, post-game, props, predictions, and more from the very best in the sports gambling industry. Next episode, we'll do a draft recap and we'll get you ready for free agency. For my producer, Matty George, Vinny always does a great job with the graphics. Thanks for listening, folks. And always remember, it's smarter to be on Sports Grid. Good night.